Hello friends, welcome back. In this session, I'm not going to teach you something technical, but instead I'm going to teach you or I'm going to interact how you can write a good research paper. I have written a good amount of research papers and I have been evolving as an individual, as a researcher, as a writer. The first paper that I wrote has a lot of mistakes that I see right now, which can definitely be improved. So I thought I can give a video article where I can tell you my experiences about how do I write a research paper right now, which can as well have some improvements in near future. But this is the general structure that somebody can follow when you start writing your research paper. This is a very generic structure that I'm going to give you, so you can follow the same for any subject, any research work, any article writing. But science and technology, this might not match you for the arts and other stuff which you might want to refer. Let's get into the content right away. The structure of the paper should have all these stuff. There could be some additions, but this is predominantly the structure that you guys needs to have. First one, abstract. Title I did not mention it here. I'll mention it to you in the last page of it. I'm going to discuss about the title at the last a little later. The first one that we are going to concentrate is abstract. What is an abstract? When you send the paper to a third person, could be a reviewer, could be an editor, could be your guide, could be anybody, he will not go through the internal contents right away. So he will just read the abstract to understand what is the problem that you are trying to solve, how do you propose to solve, how have your results come, and do you have any suggestions. That's it. It should be a 150 word quick paragraph which can be read and which should give you a quick insight about what your paper talks about. It should have what are the problems that you are trying to address, maybe one line about why do you want to address it and how do you address it, how did you get the results, how did you test it. All these details as a crisp 150 to 200 words is what really required for an abstract. Many people write abstract longer, say about 500 words, 750 words kind of abstracts are there, but they are not very useful as a shorter abstract could be useful, because abstract by the very name goes there. It shows that it has to be an abstract presentation of whatever paper you are writing. So when you write an abstract, please have a reminder that you need to tell the reviewer that clearly, and the reader in fact, very clearly, that what is the problem that you are going to solve, how did you solve it, what is the result, how did you test it. This statement should be there very clearly. 200 words is maximum that I would like you to have, but again there are requirements from particular journals. For example, if you go to journal A, they may want 200 words, journal B may want 150 words, but it will definitely not cross 250 words at any cost. So make sure that your abstract is precise, concise and very informative. It should be readable, right? Avoid grammatical mistakes and English errors in abstract, because it goes without saying, when the abstract is well written, it will definitely provoke the reader to read further. If the abstract is having a lot of mistakes, nobody will read it. So it's a very important thing to follow. Next section is keywords. What do you mean by keywords? Many of us just quickly pick few words and we put it as keyword. But the purpose of the keyword is not that. Let us make it very clear. If I want to search in Google or any search engine, when I search with a keyword, say augmented reality, does your paper have the content of augmented reality to be listed there? When I search for augmented reality, should your paper be picked? These keywords help the engines to pick the appropriate papers when the readers want to search for it. So the keywords are the markers, the keywords are the identifiers, or they are the ones which literally identifies that your paper is the apt one for the person who is searching for the content. So it will increase the readability if you have the appropriate keyword. You cannot generalize the keywords also. So make sure that if you have an algorithm, say that algorithm is very important and it's what that keywords actually indirectly identify your paper, that these are all the contents that we have discussed in the paper, then make sure that words come there. Machine learning is a very generalized term. Machine learning, the next, what algorithm are you using? Augmented reality is a general term. What are you trying to solve there? So that's the way you need to frame the keywords, and minimum 6 keywords would be required in any journal as far as I have seen, and it can go up to 10. Make sure that these keywords are really very sensible and they are going to increase your readability. In fact, visibility of your paper comes through these lovely keywords that you are pasting in there. Don't give a keyword without understanding what the purpose is for. So give keywords which are really connected to your paper, which are going to say some content about your paper. They should handpick. That's like a paper mark. So you should make sure that your keywords are good. Coming to the next section, introduction. Introductory discussion is actually maximum 1 page is preferred, maximum. But if your topic is going to be very long, which you have been doing a research for say about 4 or 5 years, and you have got a lot of content to convey there, then it can go up to 1.5 pages. What do we say in the introduction? We need to say what is that we are doing right now. Why do we do that? Everything crisply. It need not be so large because literature survey is coming then. So you can say the content about why this is needed. Why am I doing this? What is the motivation behind? All this stuff can go into the introductory section, and some sort of references can be given there, like this statistic says that this many people have suffered because of this problem. This statistic says that this much loss have been incurred in the society because of this problem. This organizational behavior should be changed and it is referred here. So kind of stuff can come into your introduction, which should give the reader a preamble of why this research is important, why he should read that paper. He should understand where your paper is going to travel after he reads this, after he goes through this introductory session. And it cannot be more than 1.5 pages maximum. Keep it light. It cannot be so dense with 3-4 pages of information, which actually will be a PhD level thesis where you have introduction as a chapter. Here introduction can be one section where it should not be, or ideally cannot be, more than 1.5 pages. Next comes literature survey. I pay a lot of attention to literature survey whenever I review a paper and whenever I write a paper as well. What is literature survey? Very simple. I am doing a research. For example, I am going to build a product. I need to understand if there are some other products which are already available in the market with the features whatever we are building. Then you are reinventing the wheel. There is no need to reinvent a wheel. Wheel is already invented. So the point is simple. When some product is already there, when some algorithm is already there, are you just reproducing it? Then it is not a research. So in what way are we going to improve the way the existing system can work? I will have 10 features. I am going to add 5 more features. So certainly it is going to improve the characteristics of the system by leaps and bounds. That's called as a presentation. And now let me tell you this. There are so many people working in the world on a similar topic. In that case, there will be so many articles that are very closely relevant to you and slightly relevant to you. You need to pick up these very closely relevant articles and understand the articles, read through the articles very nicely, then get a clear idea of what are all the features that they have discussed, what are all the features that you are discussing, what is the difference between you two. There are so many papers, right? You need to compare your paper with the rest of the papers. I would prefer you to present something like this, what I have presented in front of you. This has been done for one of my papers. So you can see that I am talking about the safety system of a car. So all these are the features that are generally available or to be available. And there are systems that are taken here for references and market products in the market which are similar to it. So I am now ticking the features that are available in all the products. Now I am now proposing a system here. So what are all the features that I promised to propose, that I have covered? Now on seeing this article, on seeing this page, the reviewer will understand that okay, there is a lot of difference between the existing system and your proposed system, and definitely you have added value to the science and technology. So this is the way you should summarize your literature survey. Make a table. The table should have the authors who have already created or already written a paper on this area. Let's give credit to them. It's called citation, and it's very important for an author to grow. So let's give due credit to people whom you have referred to. Only then they are getting the appropriate credit that they deserve, and your paper will also be referred in future like that. So I have got 5 papers referred here, 4 papers referred here, along with the market which has got the products related to it. I compare them. Now I will put a proposed system column where I will say that these are all the features that I am proposing, but I may not have one feature that rest of the products have, or 2 features that rest of the products have. That doesn't matter. That's not a problem. So we are summarizing clearly and setting up the expectation for the reviewer and reader that these are all the things that I'm going to give you. And at the end of literature survey, there is a very important point that you need to care about. That's nothing but quick summary. You're given a table, right? Understanding from the above table, we summarize that these features are not present in the products that are in the market or in the already the available literature. You need to summarize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will make them understand it better. It's not mandatory though, but if it is there, I would prefer it. Coming to the next part, problem statement. Well, now see the flow. Abstract is given, it will tell you what are you going to do, how did you do it, what are all the testing methods, etc. Keywords I told you clearly. Introduction, the need of the project. Literature survey, you understood what you are going to do, you referred the similar products, and now you can frame the problem statement perfectly with the available literature that you have summarized just above this column, and it should be a very precise maximum 2-3 line stuff where it says that this is the problem that we are going to handle and this is the need of the hour. That's it. The problem statement cannot be a half page or full page content. Make it very precise. 3 or 4 lines is sufficient. Next comes proposed architecture. Okay, here you have finalized the problem statement. Now how are you going to sort it out? You need to have an architecture. Please see the way I have built it. This is the architecture that I have proposed. Use the tools like draw.io. It's the best tool available as far as I know. You can use Paint, you can use many other tools available in the market, but draw.io is preferable, and I have drawn the architecture here very clearly for a automobile system. Similarly, you can draw your architecture and it should be self-explanatory. Please understand, architecture diagrams are very intuitively to be designed. If you are not designing it intuitive, the reader might lose interest. It should convey the fact very clearly, saying that what are all the components in your architecture, what are all the contributors and stakeholders in your architecture very clearly, which is going to be the heart, which is going to work, what way, all those things are going to be clearly conveyed in the architecture. And you can see in front of you that I have drawn an architectural representation which I think is good. You can still improvise it a bit, but again, this much is sufficient for a review paper to go through the clean review process. Now, after that, there is a very important thing. Okay, sir, I have got lot of components. I have mentioned them in the architecture, and there is a most important thing, as in how does the architecture work? How do we get the core theme worked? We need to have a workflow, right? From A, it goes to B. If B has got this, it needs to go to C, else it needs to go to D. So that is called as workflow. And you can see that I have presented a very clear workflow here. It should have a start, it should have an engine off, engine on. For my paper, it has that way. Then I have got sensors listed, and I will say this sensor will work and this alert will come. This sensor will work, this alert will come. Likewise, I need to summarize, and this is nothing but called as the workflow. This is a flowchart, simple, but I am making it a flowchart which is representing the workflow. The work is represented clearly using this flowchart. So that is very important, and please retain it. Next thing, bill of materials and component details. Whenever I write a paper, if it is not if it is a software paper, we may not have a lot of money incurred there, lot of budget incurred there. But if it is a hardware paper or IoT related paper, any hardware for that matter, we would have bought a lot of components, right? That should also be included as bill of materials, and that should be summarizing the total cost that you have spent to give a reviewer a clear idea about how much money one would need to probably implement it in his place. This much dollars, this much rupees is what is needed, should be presented. Next comes results and summary. Most of the papers are getting concluded here actually, but that's wrong literally. You need to really write a lot after this, and I'm going to tell you all those. Results and summary. Results may be the graphs that you have got, results may be the numbers that you have got, but unless you interpret that numbers, unless you understand that graph and you summarize the points saying that these are all the observations that I have got from the results, your paper is not valid. You have got results, fine, here results are available, but what do you understand from the result is very important, and that's called interpretation of results, and that should be given as results and summary. The summary, understanding about the result, the claim that you have made in the top should be connected to this very clearly. If your numbers are not revealing what you claimed is implemented, then your paper is not probably a rightly written paper or presented paper. Next one is very important, conclusion and future scope. You can combine this as one point actually. Conclusion. What is conclusion? Simple. I have done this, I aim to do this, I got these results, the results are this much accurate, and most importantly I spent this much money here. This problem I am going to solve. All this should be embedded as 2 paragraphs, or maximum is what 2 paragraphs, and that should go as conclusion. Any research should open another problem statement readily available for next researcher to work on the same topic. You cannot say that there is nothing that I can improve here. There must be an improvement, and that's what is called as future scope. Now, next one is references. Most of us do not care about it, including myself. When I started working earlier, I didn't care about this much. But this is very, very important. If you refer 10 papers, you must have read all those 10 papers and you must have cited them all inside the paper properly. How do we do it, sir? Very simple. I'll now show you a simple example which I've got right in front of you. This is Google Scholar. You need to just go to Google Scholar, type the name of the paper which you have got in the reference. You have got a double quote here, right? Just click that. And in that, you can see that MLA format is there, APA format is there, Chicago format is there, Harvard format is there, Vancouver format is there. You can just copy and paste it in your paper. This is the format requirement for citation. Whenever you put it in references, the journals would have clearly specified, I need Chicago format, I need Harvard format. Just copy paste here from Google Scholar, that would be sufficient. And when you cite it this way, it is easier for the citation engines also to recognize that this paper has been cited, and that count will be added here. You can see that cited by 44 will come to me. Very simple. So citations are important, and the format of citation is equally important, which is very necessary for a good quality paper. With this, we conclude the content of the paper, I mean the structure of the paper. Title of the paper is missed. That is very important. Don't give the title with abbreviations. For example, it cannot be PIN. It has to be postal index number. You need to expand it. In the bracket, you can put PIN. For example, if you write IoT based control system for home automation, something like that, make it Internet of Things based. And it cannot be so long, it cannot be so short. Make it precise. That's very important for a title. The title cannot be so long, and if it is so long, that takes a lot of bends there, and it actually irritates the reviewer as well as the readers. So make sure that your title is precise and as per the requirement. There are some journals that tells you the number of words that you need to have maximum inside the title, and you follow it, please. Yeah, and the next thing now is very important. A citation I have covered already. Please cite the papers. Please include the citation in the appropriate places in the paper, and pick the references based on the value that they contribute to your paper. Blindly do not refer. If they are not of any use to your paper, if you have not referred a paper, that should not come to references. That's a fundamental thing that we need to understand. Selection of a journal. Right, sir? How do I select a journal, sir? Very important. If you take, say, a journal A, go to their website first. There would be scope of the journal. Please read that through. If you are working on IoT, they must have got a scope which also includes IoT as one of the parameters. If IoT is not covered by the journal, they will not consider your paper. So without going through the website of a particular journal where scope of the journal and call for papers is mentioned, you should not ideally submit your paper. And while submitting the papers to a high quality journals, they will not want you to have your name, your designation, and all those details of authors during the first submission. It is called a blind submission. Make sure that you are submitting your paper blind. And the order of authors in the paper should go this way. Whomever contributed most should go to the first. Whomever contributed next should come the last. If you have just got some sort of help, which is word of mouth help, they can be acknowledged and they should not come as an author ideally. Your teacher should become the corresponding author, and that should be the last author. This is what the sequence that we are following normally whenever we write paper. I hope this session was useful, and if you have any suggestions, comments, please, you are welcome. You can type it out in the comment section, and if you have any specific topic to be discussed, I'll also be open to do that. And in my next session, I'll also teach you how exactly to write a book proposal form. I have written about 25 plus books which are in the market right now, and I'm going to teach you about how to write a book proposal form and how to reach the publisher straight. Thank you very much for following my channel. Thank you for the tremendous support that you guys have been giving me. I'll look forward to continuing my contribution. Thank you.